Well, here's the quick and dirty of it before the sun goes down here. I realized I'm running out of daylight. Mild distraction from car work. It's a 53, right? 53 Willys that I actually fixed up and got running for some friends. Yeah, got it running for some friends 3 years ago. They parked it, didn't run it. Now it doesn't run, so they sold it to me. We'll get the battery out, get that on the charger. I know all the ignition stuff should work. I had the carb cleaned up nice, but like there's a screen in here that could be clogged up. Fuel pumps down there, that glass dome. There could be gunk in there just because of old fuel. So we'll try to figure something out. Really, I think I can have it running in pretty short order. It might even run on that old nasty fuel, but I'm not sure. Otherwise, I mean, for a 67-year-old vehicle that has spent a few years in Michigan, it's not in that bad a shape. I'm happy with it. I'm not a huge Jeep guy, but maybe it'll turn me, I guess. I really like how the old ones look. Yeah, you know, kind of normal rusty stuff underneath, but nothing's falling apart. There's no holes in anything. And then the main reason it wouldn't run before is because there's so much rust in the fuel. And now we got a plastic tank. All the lines are new. I put them in 3 years ago. So it'll be interesting to get this thing down off the trailer tonight in the dark and try to see if we can get it to run, because that'd be great to have it just running and moving around. So got the wife's in the park down there. What I'm hoping is I can back the trailer up a little bit. Well, maybe not, maybe we'll leave it there, but if I can get it moved backed into there and then push it forward up next to the Jetta, we can do a little bit of work in it out of the garage with our own tools. But one of the main issues I'm going to run into is look at the space. I'm not exactly skinny, right? So if I get it, I don't even know how to. Oh, it's bad. Look at. Oh, okay. Now, one of the things dudes do that I read, that I'm gonna try because it just rubs up my beer gut. Is right here, this bracket. Right, you have a space to go up like 1.5 inches, which brings this up like to here. So that could get us moving. I don't know if you have to modify the floor or anything to do that, but it'll be easy enough to take this bracket off and see how much wiggle room we actually have. Other guys modify stuff to move the seat back, things like that. I don't want to have to like cut holes in anything or modify it, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, well, Polaris is pulling through for us. It's not as easy to push stuff up this hill as it looks. It's not that steep, but man, cars are heavy. Anywho, I ran over the strap, so I had to stop it, figured I'd grab the camera, get it below. Good enough, I think. All right, here we are. I can kind of slip through there with my legs if I need to, but right now we don't. There's a fuel pump, right? It's old glass bowl type, and looking at it from above, I don't see anything super nasty. When I originally fixed this one up, it had all kinds of disgusting going on. Like, it was really bad. There was a lot of like white crusties in there and all kinds of stuff. So you can see the new lines. You know, they're probably not perfect where they were originally. You can see them kind of touching each other in there. But, you know, they just wanted it to run. But it's routed well. It goes to here, and then that bottom screw should be that screen. So it's entirely possible that the fuel pump lost its prime, right? And it's not priming when they try to start it. It could be this thing's really not even that gunked up. Got the battery and the charger. I don't have high hopes for it. It's from 2012. It worked in 2017, but it was at 1.38 volts when I first hooked it up. So we've had it on the high amperage setting. I don't think it's gonna have to really kick anything into it, but we'll find out here in a minute. Can't even reach that. Looks like I can. Shut up. 12.14? Maybe I'm bad at measuring? That can't be real. Nah, well, whatever. Maybe I just had to blow some sulfur off of it or something. Because I've had it on the 6 amp. It's not drawing 6 amps. So I have trouble believing that once we put any kind of load on it, that it would do anything. But we'll see. Yeah, I need more juice in those batteries before we can mess with this. I got home with some daylight to spare, so picked up a new battery, big 700 cold cranking amp guy. So I'll get him in place. And then kind of looking at wiring stuff, like I wish this was larger gauge. I think we'll end up replacing it. Same thing with this ground strap. Not a huge fan of this big flat braid. At least it's grounded to the block, so that's good. But it's just kind of, it's beat up and old. We'll get some new terminals at some point. That's not important until it actually starts. And their starters got solenoids, so they did the 12-volt conversion correctly. I do remember big old resistor. I don't know if we put a new one on there or not, but yeah, I think get the battery in, crank a little bit, see if it spits at us at all, and then move on from there. I haven't looked at the oil bath filter, but we don't live in the desert, so it'll be okay for now. Okay, so a couple details in here. It looks like they switched to an electric wiper. And if the ignition's on, that would just turn. Whee! Oh yeah. So that's clearly that's not lined up. Those are vacuum, I think, from the factory. And then this switch is probably not original because it has a spring return for start, but they don't use that to start. They use this. And originally it should have had a foot, should have like a button over there or something. Like this one's the lights, I think. Well, high beam, right? Choke, throttle lock, those are right. This is right. I don't even know what this is. Oh, yeah, of course, because 50s, everyone had cigarettes. And then this should be shifter. This one should be high or low range. No, 4-wheel. This is high-low. This engages the front wheels, and then this is the aftermarket overdrive that's in it. We got the paperwork for that pickup truck, so we can take a peek at that and see what brand it is and stuff. But in the truth, I'm not going to choke it at first. I doubt there's any fuel in the carb to make the Excel do anything, but why not? Oh, definitely cranks great compared to yesterday. I think it's thinking about it. Let's give it a choke. Okay. I'm not going to beat that starter up too bad. Let's start taking a look at fuel stuff. Okay, this should be that little screen. Whoops. Yeah. The screen looks alright itself, but it's got some stuff. Got some stuff on the bottom, right? Just some gooberies, whatever's. Really, what I need to do is add a proper inline filter so that screen never sees anything. But there's nothing on it that would have kept fuel from getting into the carb. So I don't think we're going to run into issues there. I think it may just be a delivery system problem. So we'll just give it a squirt of starting fluid just for kicks. Okay, yeah, I mean, I can smell fuel, but that might be the rag, right? So hopefully, maybe we'll get lucky, and it's just kicking over with a little RPM will get that fuel pump rolling. You don't need a ton of that stuff. It's dangerous. Oh, you're gonna ruin your rings. Okay. Tell me more. I thought for sure that would have burped at. What's that position? What's left? No, okay. We might not be sparking actually. Let's see. I got a test light for that, so we don't have to do it the dirty way. We find it. This is why I remember taking the door off when I was working on it. So I can't reach anything and see it at the same time. Maybe. Okay, I can reach a starter from there. So, ignition on, test light. No sparky. That's interesting. Okay, that we can trace. Okay, so we hit key areas, right, just for fun. Battery, 12.2 volts, whatever. We just got it from the store. We didn't put it on the charger. And down here where the lead goes on that solenoid, 12.23. And if we follow from here, it goes in the dash, goes the switch. That switch comes out on this wire into the resistor, right? So there's resistors 12.2, other side of the resistor 12.0, whatever. And then top of the coil, come on. Yep, 12 whatever, like it's rusty, so it has bad kind of contact. And then other side of the coil passes 12 volts to this, you know, where the points are inside the distributor there. So we're getting 12 volts all the places we're supposed to get 12 volts. So for one, we'll check the coil resistance, make sure the coil is not bad. If the coil's good, we'll get in here and look at those points. Well, upon closer inspection, right there, use without external resistor. I don't know how I missed that the first time around, so we need to bypass that resistor up there, and this thing might just fire up. It makes me wonder if I had it bypassed before and somebody unbypassed it. I have no idea. Either way, we need to get those wires together. Yeah, we'll just kind of rig them for now and just see if it works. Okay, so resistor bypassed. Let's give that a shot. Looks like no. Okay, I took her out because it's just easier to show. These are only markings on it, 2727C. I can't find any kind of manufacturer or anything to actually test it to. But just off of general rules, I mean, if you look at the primary, right, we're 3 point something ohms. That should for sure be under 2. It should probably be under 1. And from each side of that to the secondary, 6.5 kilo ohms. Same on this side, 6.5 kilo ohms. Really, like 6 to 15 kilo ohms is a range, right? So if it's on the low end on the primary and it's too high, or low end on the secondary and too high on the primary, we're just gonna get a new one. They're 20 bucks. The parts store should have one in stock. Because this style coil is just using all kinds of old stuff like tractors and whatnot. So we'll go grab one real quick and hopefully we can get spark before the sun goes down. Battery back on. This is really convenient to have a switch right here because I don't need to go inside and actually turn off the ignition. And we're hooked back up to the resistor because the new coil says on the outside that it needs a resistor. So hopefully we will double check that ignition switch is on. Should be. I think it's, yep, so that should be go. Still got our test light in place. No spark. That's super frustrating. Unless this light's bad, right? So if the light's bad and it's not getting fuel and the coil is actually fine, that'd be pretty funny. Let's go ahead and pull a plug and watch. Maybe we can't trust this light. Yeah, I'll give this a try. Hopefully we don't electrocute ourselves. Rotate this so we can see it. It should be a good enough ground to get an arc without getting zapped, I hope. But definitely no spark, so what a pain in the butt. This is interesting. I just plugged the test light in and it flashed at me. And all I've done is I ran 12 volts straight from the battery to the side of the resistor that the ignition feeds. What I'm wondering is if that ignition switch isn't feeding voltage while it's cranking. So let's see how this goes. Nope. Tells it it's got to be in that distributor then. So I bet what I did is when I hooked that 12 volts up, charged up the coil, and I plugged that in, I gave it a ground path and it discharged like it would when the points open and close. So we'll get that jumper back off and we'll take a peek in there. We just won't take anything apart. Maybe, kind of. There. Hopefully it's not too hard to see. Got the points at their furthest apart, and we're 0.20, and I can wiggle that around there. There's a bit of a gap, so it may be that this vibrated down over time or something. Anyway, we'll get a flathead screwdriver, we'll re-gap that tighter, and then we'll switch to the flat side and see if we get a nice spark out of it on the primary. Oh, that bottom screw, that screw adjusts how close it is, and then the top one locks it in place. So I'm gonna get it nice and wide so it's easy to get in there. Maybe my long gauge isn't the right choice for this. Of course. I think that's good. Okay, now testing these, you want something non-conductive so you don't zap yourself. Ignition's on inside, so I'm gonna turn the ignition on here. We're good. And I'll take the flashlight away, but when I push this up, it should arc across the points. See it? Nope, that was the stick made a noise. Yeah, and I got no arc. So I'll have to confirm that this is getting 12 volts. But what should happen is when those points separate, we should get an arc. It should pop. So, yep. We can figure out why. Now it could be that this capacitor is shorted out, so we can take that off, I think. I'll have to check. I'll have to look that up because I'm not super good with this stuff. If that capacitor is bad and shorted, it would keep that from arcing ever. And you can run without the capacitor, but it burns the points up. So for testing purposes, we might be able to bypass that. In the meantime, I got to offload video, or I'm not going to have any space to do anything more tonight. Okay, I put my wood stick in between the parts, and I've got my meter on noise mode, right? So if anything's grounded, it should make a noise. The bottom plate, the static plate, should go to ground. It does. The top one should not, which it does not. So we're not shorted. That's the center bushing is, but it rides on a bushing. So no, we're still okay. That doesn't go to ground. Now, I'm checking none of this does. Yep, okay. And then we should have voltage. Yeah, we're still on. There should be voltage here. 12.25. So we have 12 volts on that side, and we have no voltage on the ground side. So there's nothing horrible going on there. But I believe for us to get a spark out of it, we do need to, I'm going to turn it back off, the center wire from the distributor cap. This needs to go to a ground, or close to one, right? Oh, these are kind of old. Oh, yeah, that should be okay. So, what's on the solenoid? I need to find a ground. Well, the body of this should technically be ground, or this bolt. Let's put it on that right there. Here. That might be good enough. So now we should get, when we separate these, it should spark. This is a little big. Maybe if we find something else. Okay, made that stick a little skinnier, a little easier to deal with. And okay, there, switches on. Yeah, no crack, no snap like it should. But that bottom one goes to ground like it should. I really don't understand why it's not doing what they tell us it should. Unless, if I just put that in here. Something on the 12-volt side is not correct and not working right. We're not getting any charge in that coil. So what should happen, these points are touching. We know they're grounded, right? Because if we go in here and... Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's on voltage mode. Go back. There we go, BP mode. Right? Ground. So there's... Oh, but that's not... You'd think it would all... Top half isn't what the bottom half is. So maybe there's not continuity. Maybe the actual points themselves are bad and they're not connecting the right way. Or they're maybe they're glazed over. I have a point file. I could try filing real quick. Okay, yeah. And I said I wouldn't do this in the dark. Big idiot. Check this out, I filed those points and now I have ground on both sides. That's amazing. You would think it would arc between the two. So now if I turn ignition on, let's put this near, that should be near ground. Hopefully it doesn't light the engine on fire or something. And then, yep, I saw a little spark. Ooh, it could work. Okay, so I saw a little spark, so we know the ignition's on. We got our test light in place still. Yeah, I can see a little tiny spark in there. It's not very strong, but it exists. This may be a good candidate for electronic ignition. Or we just put new points in a new condenser. Now, do I think it's going to actually start? I don't know. It might still need fuel work, but at least we know it has some amount of spark. I'm going to pull, oh, the choke's already on. Put my foot on the gas pedal, just in case of that. Yeah. I can smell fuel. I think that spark's really weak, which clearly is no fault of our coil. Probably that other coil's still good. Let's give it a spray of starting fluid, see if we can get a hiccup out of it. Okay, just pulled the boot off the air side and gave it a squirt. I think that spark's too weak. I'm just gonna yank that plug out again and take a peek at it. Oh, hey, you know what? If you put your rotor in, things spark better. So wait, we got spark on there with no rotor? This thing might actually run great. I feel dumb. Okay, trial number 2 with rotor in place. Dude. Listen to that. Oh, I don't need a light. You guys can just watch the dark. The choke's on full. Wonder how long it'll take to warm up. Oh, we can mess with idle and stuff in the light tomorrow. This is exciting because now at least I can drive it around, park it and stuff. And I want to drive around right now, but I'm too fat. Hope there's still oil in it. Okay, well, at least, so left and up is reverse, kind of like a Volkswagen, but there's no lockout. And then down, whoopsie, it just presses on. Oh, it's got a little metal. Well, we'll do something about that. Down is 1, up left is 2, 4, and then your overdrive if you were going to go nuts. So put it in reverse. We got a wheel chuck behind us. See if it can get around it on its own. And now it won't start, probably. Oh, it's ignition off. Silly goose. Of course it was. Okay, this is not going to be easy. It's right up against my gut. Okay, so it does not move. It means I must have one of these. Okay, that's probably, so this will be high, auxiliary range high. And this up is front drive out. So let's try that. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So we gotta not hit the wife's car. Turn her headlights on. Let's probably want to go ahead and back down the driveway. Okay, this is a mistake. We need to turn the other way and back down the driveway without running into everybody's cars. Doing this with the cameras is stupid. Jeez, my thigh. My elbow just forces the door open. You stay shut. Alright. Back in reverse. You shouldn't need to clutch it at all. You should be able to. Just don't want to run over my new path light. Actually, I think we can get between the trailer and the drive around in there. Start on an uphill. Okay, that's reverse. That should be forward. Still needs choke to idle. Feel like a lot of choke. What gear is that? So that's reverse. That should be 1. This is so dumb. Good you got the 3-wheeler. That smells. Alright, let's go park this in the turnaround. That was the goal. No order parts for it. Oh, rocks. I don't know what that noise was. If that was a backfire, something being angry. Okay, managed to not hit the body. Sweet. Okay, let's leave it in first. Grab this guy. Yeah, like that. Doop. Doop. Sick. Well, that's exciting. Well, good. So it probably wasn't the coil. Just because of that, we won't throw this one out. And we'll leave the new one in because who cares. And now we can get to the Jetta. So the goal was to get that running quickly. Whether it runs poorly or not, who cares? Just get it running so we know. And then Need to get the wiring harness out of this thing, ECU cluster, all that. Well, the cluster's already out, but strip that down, get it on the trailer, get it to scrap this week, and then we can mess with the Jeep more if we want to. But we'll have this car out of the driveway, and we'll be to the point where we're just cleaning up engine stuff. It's clearly going to take longer than I thought, but we got a goofy little Jeep to drive around. Just got to figure out how to steer it easier with my beer gut.